lesson of Learning Objective 2, understanding the business environment in which retail businesses operate. We're looking at the economic factors, so we've got Ethel the economist, yes that's the one to help with these lessons and the terminology. So when you see Ethel, click for some Ethel help. So here we are with the first lesson on the second assessment criteria. We're looking at the first point, which is disposable income. So the stepping stones start with knowing what disposable income means, and then we're looking to how to calculate someone's disposable income by using the phrase net monthly pay. So we're going to look at two keywords there. We're going to look at disposable income, gross pay and net pay, if you just cast your eye to the right on the scroll. And finally, we're going to look at analysing the links between disposable income and its impact on a healthy economy. So that's where the lesson's going today. And the outcomes we're looking at is making sure you've got the definitions of those three terms, being able to calculate the deductions to generate the net monthly pay, and be able to explain with some detail and examples of disposable income, its impact on the economy. The careers are specific to economic growth down the bottom. You've got economic growth program manager, information officer and civil servant, where those specific areas also exist. This is the task list for lesson 1, and it's very much on disposable income. And they're all quite simple broken down tasks. So whilst the list might look a bit long, then there are a little bit of maths involved in this one as well. So it's not as time consuming as you think. Right, the UK business retail environment, what is it? Retail businesses operate in an ever-changing competitive environment. They have to be aware of this environment as it will affect how they operate. Although a retail business may be able to control many things, such as where they locate, what they sell and who to employ, there are many other factors they have no control over. Some of these external factors, the one they can't control, will have a positive impact on the retail business, and some will have a negative effect on the retail business. A retail business will never be able to control these factors, but it is important that it takes them into account in its planning and its business strategy. The external factors that we'll be looking at can be categorised into these three main areas: economic factors, environmental factors and social factors. Economic factors, the first external one we're going to look at. Business activity can be affected by the state of the economy. That state of the economy will affect how much consumers spend on goods and services. Consumer incomes will rise and fall depending on a number of economic factors. When consumer incomes increase, the demand for goods will increase. When income falls, the demand for goods will decrease. So, this means that the more a person earns, the more they will spend. Businesses are concerned about disposable income, which is the amount of money the households have available for spending and saving after income taxes and other costs have been deducted. For example, Harry Thomas has an annual salary of £55,000. His monthly pay is £4,583.33. 55,000 divided by 12. This is what is called his gross pay. Task 1. His colleague Georgina earns £48,000 annual salary. Calculate Georgina's monthly gross pay. Have a look back at the Harry line and the Harry example and look at what Harry's salary was divided by to work out his monthly gross pay, and do the same for Georgina. We must deduct a number of items before we get to Harry's disposable income. This is called net pay. Harry has the following deductions taken out of his salary automatically each month. Remember, his monthly pay worked out to be £4,583.33. So in the table, in the deductions on Harry's salary table, Harry pays income tax £610 per month. He pays £420 per month for national insurance contributions, and he also pays £450 per month into his pension, giving him a total monthly deduction of £1,480. So his disposable income per month would be £4,583.33, his monthly gross pay, minus £1,480, which is his total deductions, which gives an answer of £3,103.33. His annual disposable income would be £37,329.96, because we have taken that monthly disposable income and multiplied by 12 to get a yearly amount that he's able to spend after the deductions above. Task 2. Calculate how much Harry pays in income tax per year. So that's for the whole year. You've been given 1 month. Task 2.2. Calculate how much Harry pays in national insurance for the whole year, and calculate Harry's total deductions for the whole year. Task 3. Give a clear and complete definition in your own words of what is meant by disposable income. Disposable income is what businesses hope consumers will spend on their products and services. If wages and salaries rise faster than a rise in prices, then disposable income will increase, and this leads to a higher level of spending. It is good for an economy if disposable income is rising. So you've got the definition above in task 3, and now you've got an explanation here of why we like a high disposable income. We all like it personally, and it's good for the country as a whole. So let's look at disposable income and Harry, our example, in a bit more detail. Harry currently spends £450 per month on all groceries, however he buys the basic brands. If he had a 1.5% annual pay rise, he could afford to spend £500 on groceries per month. He'd have an increased income, which means he's choosing to spend it on groceries. So we're going to break down this 1.5% annual pay rise. So remember, his monthly pay worked out to be £4,583.33. So his disposable income per month we calculated to be £3,103.33 when we had deducted national insurance, income tax and his pension contributions on the previous slide. So here's your task. Task 4. Harry's current salary is £55,000. How much would he now earn after his 1.5% pay rise? So question 1 on the table, you need to find out his new annual salary. The suggestion is find out 1%. So you divide by 100, and then when you've got the 1%, you can then halve it. So you've got the 0.5%, and then add the two numbers together. Question 2. Assuming the percentage deductions for each item, which are in the box on the right, how much will Harry's new national insurance, income tax and pension contributions be in money? So use the percentages in the right hand table, and you need to work out 20% of Harry's new salary, and then you write in the answer. 40% because he's now on the higher rate for national insurance, so it's gone up a whopping great big rise there, and you work out 40% of Harry's new salary. And the pension contributions, well, we know that he previously paid £450 per month for his pension contribution. So what we do is we work out the percentage of 450 of his old salary, £55,000. So try this formula. 450 divided by 55,000 times by 100 gives you the new percentage, which is 0.81. We'll round that down, so he's actually paying 0.8% of his salary towards his pension. And now you need to calculate the new 0.8% contribution from his new salary, of how much is he now going to be paying towards his own personal pension. Task 5. So let's read the information box on the left. The information below was provided by the Office for National Statistics on its website ons.gov.uk. Median average household disposable income in the UK was £29,400 in 2019, up 1.4%, £400 compared with 2018. Median is your middle, it's a mathematical word, and average is obviously, we've got two mathematical terms here. Median, average, all incomes are placed in value order and the middle income is the median. So we've also got extra definitions here from the ONS site. This continues a period of slow growth over recent years. Median income grew by an average of 0.7% per year between 2017 and 2019, compared with 2.8% between 2013 and 2017. So let's go over that again. We've got between 2018 and 2019, disposable income went up 1.4%. However, between 2013 and 17, it went up 2.8%. Median income of people living in retired households increased by 1.1%. That's equivalent of £300. While the median income of people living in non-retired households grew by 1.3%. That's equivalent of £400. Your first part of task 5 is to summarise what has happened to disposable income in the UK between 2018 and 2019. So you need to actually put in your own words what's happened to it in terms of has it gone up or down, and if you're able to quote any figures. At the moment, there is no comparison with the 2013-2017 figures, so you're just looking at the first figures in the first two sections. Second part of task 5. Explain why a rise in disposable income is good for an economy and in your own words. So this will be going back to the last couple of slides to look at why disposable income is good, and using that information above from the ONS, just look at what happens if you've got higher disposable income, or who's got the higher disposable income, what might they be doing with it as well. So in your own words, a short 4 lines of a paragraph in the box below. Not all retailers will be affected in the same way when there is a change in disposable income, although it is true to say that overall, if disposable income increases, the retail industry will benefit. If there is more money available for people, they tend to spend it in shops and online. However, whether a retailer experiences any increase in sales will depend on what it sells and who its customers are. In some unusual cases, it is possible for a retailer to experience a decrease in sales when disposable income increases. Yeah, get your head around that one. A retailer having a decrease in sales if disposable income goes up. Likewise, when disposable income decreases, some retailers may experience no drop in sales, whilst for others sales drop drastically. Some retailers actually experience an increase in sales when disposable income decreases. That's something to think about going on at the moment. Which retailers are finding themselves having more and more customers as we're in this recession caused by the current climate of can't avoid it, Brexit and the pandemic. The two things together have hit the economy hard. So people have got less disposable income. So if they've got less disposable income, which retailers are seeing an increase in their sales? Task 6. Name one of them. Name one of them who's actually benefited from this. So that little discussion above, you need to now do a bit of research and write the name of them in the task 6 box on the right. Task 7. This is about your thoughts and your ideas now. Write down 2 suggestions on what you think the typical impact for each of the following situations will have on retail businesses. A general increase in disposable income for all consumers. So there's 2 thoughts you need to fill in the first row. If everybody has an increase in their disposable income. Row B, an increase in disposable incomes of low-income households. 2 thoughts of what you think these households will do if they have an increase in their disposable income. Row C, a decrease in disposable incomes of households earning above the national average. So those households who tend to earn a high amount, if they've suddenly had a decrease in their disposable income, 2 thoughts about what's happened to them. And lastly, row D, a decrease in disposable income of retired people. So that's the nans, the grands, the grandpas, the granddads, and all the retired people. If they had a decrease in their disposable income, 2 thoughts on what would happen to them in terms of retail businesses. People earn different amounts of money, so they will have different levels of disposable income. Those who have higher salaries will tend to buy more expensive products, and those on lower incomes will tend to buy cheaper products. Retail businesses know this, so they will offer a range of products at different prices. Larger businesses will have a wide range of products to meet the needs of people with different incomes. However, smaller businesses need to consider the quality of their products and their pricing and match this to their customers' incomes. The following tomato soups on the left are some of the products available in Tesco's. So you've got everyday value 25p, you've got Tesco's home brand 45p, you've got Heinz tomato soup 95p, and you've got Tesco's finest sun-dried tomato and basil soup £2.50. Task 8, your job, explain why Tesco sells a range of the same product. So explain why Tesco's offers those 4 products at those 4 different prices. Task 9A. Amira is 18 years old and has just left school. Whilst at school, Amira had a part-time job which paid her £200 per month. She also had an allowance from her parents of £60 per month. Amira just got a full-time job paying her £850 per month. You need to answer the questions below, questions 1 to 6, about Amira and retailers as well who might benefit from the change in her disposable income. Question 1. Write down Amira's total income when she had the part-time job for the year. So this is while she was at school with her part-time job and the allowance from her parents. Question 2. Write down Amira's total income now she has her full-time job. And please assume that she doesn't have the allowance from her parents now. So that's her total income for the year, question 2. Question 3. What would be her monthly gross pay with her new full-time job? So this is checking we've remembered the definition of gross pay. And you write the answer for number 3. Question 4. What would be her monthly net pay deducting only national insurance and income tax? Obviously from her full-time job, because that's when she would pay both. So could you calculate what the net pay would be? Use 20% deduction for national insurance and 20% for income tax from Amira's monthly £850 per month for you to work out her monthly net pay. Question 5. Explain how the change in Amira's disposable income will affect her spending habits. So this is probably you looking back on that tomato soup task and thinking what will happen to Amira now she's changed from her part-time job, which is effectively £260 a month, to now her £850. What do you think she's going to do now in terms of her spending and her disposable income? And question 6. Identify 6 retailers who will possibly benefit from the change in Amira's disposable income. So think about 6 retailers and just name them, because that's what identify means. Name 6 retailers who would benefit from Amira earning more money. Possibly like the tomato soup retailer, but obviously you can't have the same retailer 6 times. You've got to think of 6 different ones. Task 10. Write down the impact on the shown retailers in the image below and their products, well, for the following 2 reasons. So, B&Q, the first one. The first part, on the left-hand side, the impact of an increase in disposable income. What happens to B&Q? You fill that in that on that first side, and the impact to B&Q if there's a decrease in disposable incomes. So we're not thinking of a person now, we're thinking of, as a whole, when people have more to spend, then what happens to B&Q, and when people have less to spend, what happens to B&Q. Second one, Lidl. What happens to Lidl if there's an increase in disposable incomes? Write your thoughts and your impact there. And on the right hand side, what happens to Lidl if there's a decrease in disposable income? Third one along, Primark. What happens to Primark if there's an increase in disposable income? And what happens to Primark if there's a decrease in disposable income? Fourth one, what happens to Audi? That's a car brand. What happens to Audi cars if there's an increase in disposable income, and what happens to Audi if there's a decrease in disposable income? Fifth one, what happens to eBay sales if there's an increase in disposable income, and what happens to eBay if there's a decrease? And the last one, what happens to Abercrombie, the designer clothing brand, if there's an increase in disposable income, and what happens to Abercrombie if there's a decrease? Well done, that's it. You have completed lesson 1, your first lesson on the business environment in which retailers operate, and we looked at disposable income and what affects income for the first lesson. You've completed all those 10 tasks. Give yourself a pat on the back.